Welcome back to the Sports Wire, folks. I am Vinny Apicella along with Irving Gomez, and we are inviting our guest, Booker T. McJunkin, on. How are you doing today, sir?
Great.
He is the head coach of the New Haven Venom. Before we get to your interview, though, I do want to just mention we had gotten Greg Yetzy's website. It's exudesexcellence.tk. There is about 4 hours left to win a raffle for a game on there, and just head over there. So anyways, let's get over here to this interview. Sure. So tell us a little bit about the origins of the New Haven Venom.
Well, the New Haven Venom originated from New York. I had the team in New York. It was called the New York Venom. And I moved up here, started working at Yale, and I noticed that there wasn't football directly in the community of New Haven. There was football in the surrounding areas, but New Haven lacked it. And by New Haven lacking football, a lot of the ball players that lived in this community were going out into other towns to play football. And why? When you can build a program and fundamentally make a program strong in this community. They have the players, they have the resources, so why not utilize it?
Absolutely. I remember back a couple years ago, the New England Knights were in this area, and they've recently folded. The Connecticut Bearcats, we found out a few weeks ago, have folded as well. So so it's great that the Venom are coming in. We're going to have a team. Now, I was reading that you guys actually run 3 teams.
We do. We run. There's a super prep team from 15 to 17 years old, and a lot of those kids are kids that schools don't have a program for them to play.
Okay.
A lot of the kids are overweight and can't play Pop Warner ball, but still deserve the right to play football.
Absolutely.
And then there's a 18 to 21-year-old group, and that's the junior pro group. These are kids that are usually hanging out on the corner and graduated high school and don't have any place to play. And so we want to reach out to the community and grab some of those guys. Even into some of these programs where they have delinquents. We want to get them into something that will structure their behavior and turn it into a positive direction. And then there's the amateur. We don't like to use semi-pro because no one's getting paid. And minor league, minor to what? We don't want to be pro. We're amateurs. And so the amateur football players are 18 to adults, to 40. However old you are and you want to play, it's available to you. Now, we don't charge a registration fee. I don't believe in charging someone to do something that we love to do. We do charge a league fee, and the league fee is to help the team, run its daily operations. It's not enough, but it gets us through the door. And I think there's a lot of ball players out here that still want to recapture a little glory. And then there are those that, it's not just football for us. It's more than football.
Okay, absolutely. That's great.
Would you say a lot of the funding comes from yourself, for this?
A great deal of the funding comes from me.
That's pretty awesome.
And the reason being is because when I grew up, there was football, and there was a guy who did just what I'm doing. And football for me is a love. If I had a choice, I would marry football. But I get that So I think we need to do more in this community to get some of these kids. I was speaking to a gentleman one day, and they have a lot of political clout. He was like, well, there's a lot of programs. These kids are not coming in and asking about the programs. And I was taken back because I was listening to what he was saying, and kids don't usually go and ask for programs. They want you to come and tell them that there's programs. You have to initiate something with a child. If you expect a child to come and ask about things that you've done just because of who you are, that's a falsehood. It's never going to happen.
Right.
So we have to go back into the community, stand out on the streets. You know, the cops are doing it. They putting cops back on the street, putting them on the beat. Now we as adults, grown men and women, have to get back on the streets to try to rekindle the streets, get back our streets. We can't do it by complaining and looking out the window.
Right.
You're absolutely right about that.
You know, what I actually love is just, I feel like what you're doing is what people want to see community leaders or politicians doing. You're giving of yourself for the better of New Haven. And then I remember you saying before when you were here how you stay up sending emails, making sure people see the jobs that are available. I think that's you're really taking on a leadership role, what you're doing. So,
well, I didn't need a court to sentence me to community service.
Okay.
I sentenced myself to community service.
Okay.
So, me going out here and putting up jobs for the ball players, helping with with resume writing, trying to get them into GED programs, trying to get some of them that need counseling, and the counseling,
Wow.
and going as far as even conducting job interviews, doing mock interviews so that they know how to conduct themselves in an interview.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than just finances. You have to give of yourself. You have to put more of yourself in it. And it's always creative ideas that all of us have that can change the lives of just one person.
Right.
Absolutely. It takes one person to change the world.
Right.
And, and it may not be just one person doing one thing. It could be many one persons out there doing something similar.
Right.
With the fact of you coming in there, coming into New Haven, giving these kids an option to, to get into an organized league. Because I remember quite a few years ago there was in New Haven, and I know it's in Hartford too, there were nighttime basketball leagues to get kids off the streets, which obviously works good, but the government, that's the first thing that goes when the budget crunch comes. And, the fact that you're taking your time and your money coming out here to pursue this is a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
And it's great for it's great for the community altogether.
Well, I do believe that, and I think, and I appreciate it. But at the end of the day, like they say, my judge is not here on earth; it's up in heaven.
Absolutely.
And so I want to make sure that at least at some point, I'm not going to have to worry about getting through those gates.
Right.
But I do believe that there are a ton of people out here that feel and think the same way I do. I have to believe that. And the thing is we have to get in touch with those people. Do I want to spend my own money? No, I don't want to spend my own money. I still have to live.
Yeah.
But I do it because I'm here. And I think that there's more to just playing football. There's people think, oh, well, you putting a football team together, that's great. These kids are great, but it's a violent sport.
It is.
But it's controlled chaos.
Yep.
In life, we live controlled chaos. And so we have to be able to teach that when these guys are, in an instance, you're telling a guy to go and take somebody's head off, and then after the play's over, you tell him to shake his head and smile at him.
That's a good way of putting it.
And it's a hard thing to do. But think about the many kids that do it. That right there controls the violence on the street.
Wow.
Because it makes them think the minute that they are at that irrational state that I can turn it off at any moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what football is. You're a villain at that point when you're playing that sport. And at the end of that play, you turn it off.
Right.
That's a great way to put it, and it's a great message for life.
It is.
Because a lot, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like a lot of these kids grow up without a father figure in their life, or without parents that are able to spend the time with it, whether it be from the hustle and bustle of work or whatever the case is, and you step into that role, and I think that's commendable.
Absolutely.
A lot of these kids are they're not even looking for a father figure. They're just looking for someone you think about, I always tell people when you have kids, there's 2 kids, you're raising 2 kids. Now, a lot of people don't understand what I'm saying when I say you're raising 2 kids. There's 2 kids. There's a kid you have in the house, and there's a kid that leaves the house and that's out in the street. You know, so,
Yeah.
so when you look at that kid and you say, well, my kid don't do that, do you know the kid that's in the street?
Right.
So I always tell the parents, don't look at the kid when he's in the house, when he's sick, when he or she needs something, because that's the child that you raised. But that child, when they walk outside the door, that's the child the street raised. So now you have to see that child in the true light. You know, so we get to see kids in the true light because we're out there.
Right.
So when the parent comes or when the guardian comes and says, well, how do you get control over him? Because I don't see that child you see in the house.
Right.
I see the other child you have. I see your twin. So the twin that I see is the twin that I have to correct.
Right.
And the twin that I have to work with. The twin that you see is the one that you work with and you correct. But when they leave you, they rear their ugly head. So we have to take control of that when we get it. And so if we raise both twins equally, then we raised a hell of a man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, that
I
absolutely
mean,
is.
you're using up all my questions. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, is what I love about what you're saying as well is that what you're talking about is empowerment. It's like letting them know they have choices, they have options. It doesn't have to go a certain way. They can decide to do the right thing. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, I always tell people, you know, I always tell it when we speak to these kids, I say, you know, life you always take the easy way out. Try doing something hard in life. Try doing something hard with your life. And they're like, Coach, what are you talking about? I said, try being good for the rest of your life. That's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
It's easy to be deviant. It's easy to be bad, but try being good.
Yeah.
It's a hard road to travel.
It is.
And so when they learn how to travel that road, you get a decent human being. You
Absolutely.
get a kid that's ready to go to school. You get a kid that's ready to work.
Right. It's awesome.
Now let me ask you something. Okay. You know what? We're gonna actually take a break about now, and we'll be back with Booker. He will stay on for our next segment. This is going absolutely great.
Please.
I'm definitely encouraged by this.
Me too.
And you know, we'll be back in just a minute.
Please tweet your comments, thoughts,